everyone. It's me again, Penny. As you can see, I got my COVID shot today, my vaccine, and I feel like a lump of crap right now. So, if you didn't notice by my amazing makeup abilities, I just wanted to cover up how amazing I feel. I watched The Creature from the Haunted Sea, and it's a movie made in 1961. And it's just one of those movies where I couldn't tell if they were trying to be funny, if it was supposed to be some type of parody. But I mean, it kind of starts off like that, but then it kind of feels like it's taking itself a little too seriously. The movie starts off with this guy getting his shoes shined. These like rabbi looking dudes run up to him and start shooting at him, and he gets up and he fucks off, and they're going after him, and it's like they're shooting at him and he's running, so it's a big old chase scene. There's a dog that kind of goes after them like it's supposed to be part of the movie. It's not. Yeah, so he runs up the ladder and he foils these guys, waits 2 seconds and climbs back down the fire escape, because that's how long it takes, I guess, for guys to forget you're around and run somewhere else. So he gets this message, and it's this piece of paper, and it has the name of a club on it, and he looks at it and he reads the message and he just eats it, swallows that shit. Oh, like my new mug, a wine glass. I inherited it from one of the interns at my work that leave every year. That's my life. People come and go. Come here for a year. I get a little attached, and they fuck off. It's okay. So the guy puts on this very convincing disguise. He goes into this club with his convincing ass disguise on, and sees a broad playing chess by herself. So he goes in, and then he's like, would you like a drink? And she's like, why not? And so he's like, he asks the bartender, can I get a Chateau Marmont 1907? And she's like, 1911 is better. And he's like, the bartender's like, we have a something fancy 19 whatever the fuck. We don't have that. And the guy's like, oh no, never mind that, we'll just get some rum cokes or whatever. And the guy's just like, he looks back at her and he's like, I just had to make sure that you were who I thought you were. Because I guess they're supposed to be spies, and maybe spies have some kind of code or something. Drink code? I don't know. The only spy I've ever known with a drink code was 007 with his shaken, not stirred shit. Turns out the guy, his name is SK-150, and the girl, her name is SK-120. And apparently they are some type of spies. And he was all like, she was so beautiful. If only I wasn't wearing this stupid disguise. I don't know. She was okay. She was alright. He's like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then he was leaving. And he's kind of like leaving out of this side fence. And as he was walking away all cool, he kind of trips over it. And then the scene cuts to the credits, and the credits are all cartoony and cute. So it kind of makes it seem like this movie was going to be, you know, like a little bit lighthearted. And then after the credits, it's this scene where it's an animated scene where they're talking about Cuba and Fidel Castro and all this political shit. And and then it's a scene where there's like a limo, and there's two dudes in it. One dude's wearing a suit, and the other dude's wearing like this striped sailor looking shirt. And there's like this other vehicle, and it's filled with a bunch of Cuban guys. They come out and they're talking about this gold. And so I guess, I don't know, these guys have like this big box of, like a chest, like this big chest of gold. And so it's like this, they're making some type of a deal, and they're talking about this gold, and then there's this big shootout, and the guy with the Men in Black looking suit and the dude with the fucking Sailor Jerry looking shit, they leave. They leave and they go to this yacht. And in this yacht, there is the captain. The captain was the one with the Men in Black looking suit. His name is Lorenzo. And then he's got this girlfriend. Her name is Maribel. She's got this super sharp ass looking chin. You know, give like Reese Witherspoon a run for her money. And then she's got the brother. The brother was the Sailor Jerry looking guy. They call him Happy Jack. And the guy from earlier that was running away from the rabbis is on the boat. They call him Sparky something. Sparky. And there's a guy named Pete. And Pete's story is that he was kind of like a pickpocket, and then Lorenzo found him trying to like pickpocket. I already said that. He's a pickpocket. Lorenzo found him, and Pete likes to make animal noises. Like, he can talk, but like he prefers to make these stupid animal noises. Like, someone will ask him a question and he'll just...
That, for instance, was the mating call of a Himalayan yak.
And so they're on the boat, and Pete is kind of like Lorenzo's servant. And so every time he does something well, Lorenzo gives him a lollipop. I don't know if he's like... I don't know if he has like cognitive problems or something like that. I don't know. But then Sparky, SK-150, is down in the bow, and he's got this little sit-up where it's like his little spy station. And it's made up of like wires and all that shit, and he's like hunkered down. It's like this bunker, and he made some little microphone contraptions with some pickles and Vienna sausages. And he's down there talking to headquarters, and he's telling the headquarters what he knows so far about what's going on. Oh, it's really hard to lift my arm. I can lift it up. That's as far as I can lift it. Hurts like a mofo. So Sparky's down there talking on his little wiener contraption, and Animal Pete comes by. And this is the first time I've heard him talk. And he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And Sparky's like, "Nothing, just down here eating lunch." And he like eats his little pickle microphone. He's like, Sparky's like, "Oh, that looks good. Can I join you?" Gives him one of his fucking things and all super happy. Sitting there like, yeah. And then the next scene is little Miss Sharpchin playing dice by herself, and she's loving it. She's having the time of her life. She's just like, "Come to mama." And she's like, "Crazy." Just having a blast by herself. She would survive this pandemic so well. And then this boat stops, and it's these two Cuban guys. And well, actually there's a bunch of Cuban guys, and they go up to her, and one of them is a translator, and the other guy is like, he's like their general. And the general thinks she's all that, so he's trying to talk to her in Spanish.
Good morning, encantadora y hermosa criatura.
The general says, "Good morning, you gorgeous, beautiful creature."
Would you ask the general to remove himself from my presence?
Ella dice que muy buenos días para usted, mi general.
Usted para mí es como una flor del mar, como un ángel de Neptuno sonriéndole al mundo.
The general says you are a golden angel flower singing.
Would you tell the general that I feel that he'd be most at home, barbecuing slowly over a hot spit?
Ella dice que mi general es un hombre muy digno y de gran empuje.
She's just insulting the guy. And then they leave, and the spy guy comes. The spy guy goes over to her, and he thinks he's like fucking in love with this bitch too. I don't know. I guess she's the only pair of tits in the ocean, so I get it. I get it. Good for her. Sparky is like, "Let me take you away from this. You're far too young and beautiful to be out here. Let's jump out of here and swim through shark-infested waters together and get out of here." And she's all like, "That sounds great. You go ahead." He's like, "No, I mean us together." And she's just like, "I wouldn't sit in the same bus with you." So there's a bunch of Cubans down there, and like in the yacht, they all kind of look like Bruno Mars. Lorenzo, so the captain, Maribel, her brother Happy Jack, and the spy guy, and Pete. They're all talking about like what the plan is to get rid of these guys. And they're like, "How about we kill them all, but we make it look like something else did it. We can we have some rakes down there. We have some what the fuck, some jelly that we can put on some, I don't know, nets or whatever. And we can make it look like a sea monster took them." And they're like, "Alright, sounds like a foolproof fucking plan." Everybody goes to bed. They get these plungers. and like stick them in, I don't know, paint or something, and just like kind of making it look like tracks. Like there's like sea monster tracks. I don't know what kind of sea monsters have feet. Definitely not the Loch Ness monster, that's for sure. Or the Kraken. Or fucking Cthulhu, for that matter. I don't know. They have tentacles. So they start their plan, and they were going to only kill off a couple of them to scare them away. But little did they know, an actual sea monster comes on board. I don't know, they look like Cookie Monster's fetal alcohol syndrome looking kids. And they kill all the Cubans that are on the boat. And then it cuts and everybody's fine and there's no Cubans on their yacht. For some reason, the sea monsters spared the main characters in this movie. And they're just going along, just having fun, you know, feeling the breeze in the air, just like not a care in the world, like nothing even weird happened. And Captain Lorenzo is like, Maribel, sing us a song. I've been in a boat before. Boats are loud, especially those boats that, you know, have a tiny little cabin, you know, for the captain, and then everyone else is kind of just chilling outside. And it's loud. You can hear the waves, you can hear the sea, you can hear the gulls, you can hear the boat motor. But Lorenzo's like, yeah, Maribel, sing us a song. And she starts singing this really super breathy, low, like, song. You know, what those bitches sang back in the fucking 30s. And she sings it for a long time. But you can hear her clearly. And there's piano. Piano starts playing as she's singing.
Kissing, baby.
She must come with her own theme music. And she's singing away. And this other boat comes. And it's some other dudes. And they come aboard. And Maribel's still singing. And those guys are like, hey, can we come aboard and look around at things or whatever? And Lorenzo's like, yeah, sure, why not? And then the bitch is still singing. Lorenzo's like, honey, can you stop singing now? And she stops singing. And then the guys in the boat come on board, and Sparky's like, he was fishing, and he's like, well, I need to do something. So he grabs his fish, and he was gonna slap it on that guy that went on board, but he slaps it onto fucking Lorenzo. And then Pete has like a machine gun, and he's just fucking, it just kills everybody. It just kills all those guys that went on board. And, well, not all the guys, but Lorenzo and Pete start making plans to, how they're gonna escape this, without these Cubans. I'll capsize this boat, and then you'll dump the chest of gold, and then we'll escape on this dinghy. And he's like, okay, you get it? I'm gonna need more wine soon. Got my wine. The plan worked. they were able to hit a reef. They were going after these reefs. They're like, oh my god, reefs! Ah! And they kind of hit them and bust the yacht, and they were able to escape in the dinghy. Our main characters and like a couple of the Cubans. And I guess these Cubans were like really good scuba divers or something. They'll explain that like later on. So they're in the boat. They get to important. Before they crashed the yacht, they were talking about where they plan on going. And at first they said that they were going to go to Bali. And the spy, after hearing that, he goes down into his little secret spy place and was telling the spies that they're going to Bali. But Bali, the way he put it. But while he was down there, the other guys have no idea who he is, but they decided instead that they're going to Puerto Rico because it's it's a U.S. territory. And so SK-150 is telling everybody that they're going to Bali, but they're actually going to Puerto Rico. After the plan goes into fruition and they crash into these reefs, they're on this dinghy. They're on this dinghy and they're going along, and Maribel starts singing, and she's like, row, row, row your boat gently down the creek. Merrily, 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 I'm gonna be sick. So they get to this beach, and they're walking around trying to figure shit out. Sparky goes around. He finds a telephone booth out in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, calls that bar, and he's like, is there a woman there playing chess? I don't know if she just goes there every single night and plays chess by herself, hoping he calls or something. And so he's talking to her, giving her all his, coordinates and shit. And then at that time, Pete, the guy that makes animal noises, is wandering around the beach, and he goes like deeper into like the jungle or something. And he's doing his stupid noises. He's just like, whatever, cock-a-doodle-doo. And while he's doing that, someone starts answering him. Someone starts answering him in some other weird animal noises. And so he starts going further into the jungle. And he would do the animal noises. And then you'd hear it back, like cock-a-doodle-doo, whatever. And then he meets this lady, and they just fall instantly in love. They're just like, oh my god, we both make stupid animal noises. We must be made in fucking heaven. And so the next thing, everyone's trying to figure out what's going on, where they are. And then Happy Jack comes. So Happy Jack, is Maribel's brother, the Sailor Jerry shirt. And it never shows it, but somehow he finds a lady. And he's like, hey, everybody, meet this lady named Caroline. I found her living in a sorority house. And she's very friendly. And Maribel's like, nice to meet you. Let me show you our sorority house. Okay. Yeah. And you know, she's supposed to be with Happy Jack. Okay. And then Carmelita goes up to Sparky, and she said, you know, he's like, I'm not entirely sure, but I think she was into me. She fucking grabs him and just starts making out with him. And he's like, yeah, but I still love Maribel. And then Jack goes, you know, to Maribel, and he's just like, I love you and all this. And she's like, I love Sparky. And he's like, what about me? And she's like, I don't give a fuck. And she goes over to Sparky. And so Happy Jack is all soups sad. Pete's new girl, the fuck is her name? Pomona? Whatever the fuck her name is. She's like, come with me. I still can only, okay. She's like, come with me. And she pulls Jack over, and they run into, you know, the jungle. And she's like, mango. And this pretty young Hispanic girl comes out, and she's like, this is my daughter, Mango. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then the mom is like, what, you know, like Mango? And he's like, no, I like her. And they go under this tree, and they're sitting down, and he's just like, oh my god, you're so this and that. And she starts telling him in Spanish. She's like, my mom makes me meet weirdo, like, white boys like you. And he's just like, I don't know what you're saying, but whatever it is, it sounds beautiful. And she's like, yeah. She makes me heat them up so they can buy sandals and jewelry from us. And he's like, that sounds amazing. Pete's new woman has like an ex, so it's probably like Mango's dad or something. And he comes over to Pete, and he's like, who's this gringo you've been hanging out with? And he tries to take whatever her name is. And Pete comes out, and he's like a rage, like literally like a bull, like charges after the guy and headbutts him in the stomach. So he wins the hand of his lovely lady. The mom comes by again, and she's with with Pete, and they're like bouncing this ball around, and they ask how it's going, and of course Happy Jack says they're in love. And Pete's like, if you get married to her, that makes me your dad. But anyway, Happy Jack and Pete start hashing this plan. They're like, hey, how about we snuff everybody out and we can take the gold for ourselves? And Happy Jack's like, what about my sister? And Pete's like, well, she could be like, I don't know, our housekeeper or something. And Happy Jack's like, okay, let's do it. And then Mango's like, in Spanish, let's all go for a swim. And everyone's like, yeah. And the other guys are like, talking about, you know, how all those Cuban dudes are scuba divers. So they pile all of them up including the bitches, like Carmelita, Maribel is there. I guess it's just those two bitches. But they take everyone out there, and including the Cuban scuba diver guys. Carmelita's like all over Sparky, and Sparky's just like, meh, you know, he's still into Maribel, and Maribel wants nothing to do with him. You know, she thinks he's disgusting. She's still about her husband, Lorenzo. Husband? I don't know, whatever. Lorenzo.
This man wants to sell you his wife for $50 and a case of rum.
Tell him he's nuts.
Dice que está loco.
And they all started going under, and so, you know, one after another, and they're all saying goodbye to their honeys. They're like, bye, honey. And then Lorenzo's like, bye, honey, and he throws her his hat, and she just catches it. Bye. And fucking Peach is like, and this woman does her own stupid little animal noise, and they go, it's cute though, and they go under, and then Sparky is saying how they're under there, and they're like, the sea is sort of like flooded with Cubans, because like, no, Cuban scuba doobers. And they start snuffing them out. Yeah, Lorenzo and fucking Sparky starts going over like one after another and like killing the Cuban scuba divers. But before they can snuff all of them out, sea cookie monsters show up and start killing them themselves. Do that. The other guys are swimming, so it was like Pete, Happy Jack, Mango, and her mom. And they're having a good old time. They're like, you know, swimming around, having a good old time. And for some reason, Mango decides to just swim around by herself, and her, you know, everyone else is swimming over here. And Cookie Monster just grabs her and takes her down, and they realize she's gone. Happy Jack is just like, oh my god, Mango, where are you? And he goes out, tries to find her, and like dives down, can't find her, comes back up, and I guess she's gone. She's gone. Yeah, Mango's gone. Only thing left of Mango is her bathing, like a couple of pieces of cloth down there that she was wearing. That's all that's left of Mango. Whew. They're really scared because they know there's like the Cookie Monster's coming to get them. And he goes and tries to kill the gillyweed suit monster, and he fails. And then so Pete tries to kill the monster, and he fails. And then the mom, Pete's, oh yeah, did I tell you they kind of got married? Like, the lady was like, is that a ring on your finger? And yeah, somehow Pete and the lady got married between the 2 seconds that they met and that they talked to the other people. So I don't know, whatever. And so the lady jumps off into the water. What's his name? Sparky goes and he flees to the beach. Carmelita's with him. Cookie Monster eats Pete. He kills Pete. And so before Pete dies, he hits one of these monsters with an arrow and kills it, but it somehow kills him too. So yeah, so one of these things gets taken out and then Pete gets taken out. So I guess there was a guy named Tostada. I don't know, that sounds delicious. He gets toasted by the monster. He's dead. Sparky and Carmelita, they're all happy together. They're together. And everything's great. Or so it seems great. I don't know, it was entertaining. Not all of their jokes, you know, landed or whatever, but I had an okay time. I had to watch it twice because the first time I watched it, I tried to make the review right after I watched it, but I couldn't because my iPad was like, you don't have any more storage, and so I had to make more storage. But it was good to watch again. I mean, what sea monster, like, has feet and fucking stupid hands and googly eyes? And they didn't have any flippers or anything. How the hell did they get around in the water? And what is their motivation? We're gonna find boats in the water that are chilling and go up and kill their seamen. So that was Creature from the Haunted Sea. I mean, I guess the sea could be haunted, huh? Sometimes I forget to get these things a rating. I would rate this thing 5 out of 10. It was alright. So, I hope everyone has a good night. And I hope the wine or whatever doesn't affect my COVID vaccine symptoms. Because I was feeling the chills, the body aches, just all around icky. But I still was like, you know what? I made this commitment to do this video on this day, and nothing's gonna stop me. Okay. All right, everybody. Good night.